My name is Jason Wright. I'm an attorney with Pearson Patterson with 10 years experience closing electronic loans throughout the country. I'm going to walk you through an e-closing utilizing Pearson Patterson Inc.'s digital delivery e-close technology. Welcome to Pearson Patterson's e-close demonstration. Today we are demonstrating an e-closing with one of our lender clients, Georgetown Mortgage. The purpose of this demonstration video is to show you what it looks like from the settlement agent notary perspective in the closing room where the consumers are there ready to execute their closing documents. The screen you're looking at is our login screen. The first time in, the notary will need to set up their information, but after that you will be able to simply, with the login and password, log in and retrieve the documents for your closing. This is our search page. This is where you can look for documents. This is also where you can change your notary settings, or you can change your password on your account. Here you can navigate by searching by MIN number, borrower name, property address. Once you put any of that information in the system, it will find that particular loan. This is the generic information for that particular closing package: MIN number, loan number, borrower name, property address. The status column is who all needs to sign on the package, and under the last column, actions, you can go to review to view the documents, and you can see that it's seller documents or borrower documents, so you can obviously pick a refinance or a purchase transaction. Here we're going to show you the borrower side of this closing package. Once it loads, this is the entire closing package. You'll notice on the blue bar at the top of the screen there's 140 pages in this package. So as opposed to the paper world, where at this point you're simply flipping pages in front of the consumer and having them sign, in our e-sign world you're simply scrolling through the package. You can use the arrows at the top of the bar. You can scroll through, and as a settlement agent or notary, you can still go over all the documents that you would otherwise go through in a paper transaction. You can also change the format of the document to whatever fits your preference on how you want to view the documents. So again, the closer gets to go over everything they've gone through. The consumers who have had an opportunity to review this at least the day before closing, if they wanted to, can ask whatever questions they want to ask. There's also an opportunity under the Add Docs to Package on the left-hand side for the title company to add their documents to the package. If you want to do that, you simply click that tab, and here in the first column you're going to select who all needs to sign on that particular document, and it gives you a drop down of all the choices. You select who needs to sign. Then you are going to name the document, and this is important because whatever document name you put here is what will be on the signature addendum behind the document that the consumers will execute. And once you've named it, you simply go to Browse, and on the hard drive of your computer, you upload the documents to the e-sign room, hit the Submit button, and then they will be a part of the closing package. Under the Documents tab, if you are doing a hybrid closing, which means some documents will be wet signed, then on the Wet Sign Documents tab on the left-hand side, you will simply click that tab, and it will have the documents that will need to be printed out and signed wet with a pen at the time of closing. There's the Wet Sign Docs. You would simply go to the icon on the far right top of the dark blue bar. That allows you to download and print those documents. If there are no wet sign documents in the package, it will all be under the e-sign Documents tab. And Under the View Signatures tab, this allows you to see who all has signed off on the package as you're going through the closing that day. That is particularly beneficial if not everybody's in the same room at the exact same time. So if you have a consumer coming in later in the day or in a different city, state, or even country, as long as you have a notary with access to the internet, you can electronically sign the packages. Now our consumer is ready to sign. You'll simply click the Begin Signing tab. Under that, it gives you the names of who needs to sign off on the package. And I know it should go without saying that a notary signs after the consumer, but if the notary was in a hurry and wanted to notarize electronically prior to the consumer coming in, our program will not allow that, so the notary has to sign last. So we're going to hit the consumer's name. Every signer to the e-sign package starts with a consent page. This page basically says you're signing electronically, same force and effect as signing a piece of paper with a pen. The program generates that unique 5 or 6 digit code at the bottom of the page that the consumer will enter into the consent code box on the left hand side. Then they will hit the I consent tab underneath the consent box. And now the program is going to load every page where that particular signer's name date is going to be placed. They're going to hit I agree. And you'll see in our paper transaction, or our demo transaction, they would have otherwise signed 31 times, but now they're going to hit I agree 31 times. Every time they hit that, it is loading the PDF version of the page where the signature is going to be applied, and at the top blue bar above the document is the title of that particular document. So as the consumer is hitting I agree, you can continue to tell what document it is by either the title or the document itself. If a consumer gets to this point where on the page like now they don't see what it is, and from the title of the document they're still not comfortable, you can always hit the cancel button on the bottom left. It'll take you out of this part. You can go over the document again until they feel comfortable and confident with what they're agreeing to sign. Another thing that's happening here is behind the scenes there is an audit trail footprint. Every time the consumer hits that, it's saying the name, date, and the IP address of where they're agreeing to sign. You also get this pop-up window after they've gone through. It says you've reviewed and agreed to sign the following with the title of every document. Once they hit OK, it now brings you to our Apply Signature page. And if you were performing this e-closing with an iPad, instead of the page you see in front of you, you would instead see a white rectangular box with the consumer's name, and they would literally, with a stylus or the pad of their finger, be able to sign their name on the iPad directly. If you're using a computer or any other type of device, you have to download the eSign Pad app to your smartphone. Once you do that, open up the app, put the code that you see on the screen in the app, and then it will open up that same white rectangular box that will allow the consumer with the stylus or the pad of their finger to sign the phone. Once you hit Apply Signature, the signature is going to disappear from the phone and it is going to appear on the computer screen. You will also note that the consumer signature is typed on the screen exactly how it needs to be executed. So in our e-sign world, the notary has to make sure that the consumer signs correctly one time versus the 30 or 40 or more times that they would have to sign correctly in the paper world. There is our consumer's signature, and you'll notice that that does not say electronically signed by John T. Test, nor is it an computer generated font meant to look like a signature that is not that consumer's. That is a holographic signature that is the original signature of our consumer. Once you see the consumer signature, you're going to hit the Done button. And it will take us back to the beginning and load the package. It should be pointed out that until all parties have signed the transaction, no signatures will be applied to the package. So if we scrolled through at this point, you wouldn't be able to see a signature applied. But if we go to our Begin Signing tab, you'll see that the consumer's name is now gone, and now the only thing left is for the notary to execute this package. When we click the Notary tab, the first thing the notary has to do is enter this information on our identity screen. And what the notary is doing is taking whatever form of identification the consumer has and going to enter that information in this page. This allows the notary to not only be able to confirm the identity of our consumer, but this information also is going to be taken and placed in the identity affidavit so that that doesn't have to be completed and executed separate and apart after the closing transaction. Once this information is entered and submitted, then the process for the notary turns into the exact same process that you just saw for the consumer. The notary still gets the consent page. They get their unique consent code that they enter into the consent code box. They hit I consent, and then they also have to hit I agree as many times as it asks, where it loads the page where their signature and notary stamp is going to be applied. You get the same security pop-up window with the title of every document that they've agreed to sign. Then it takes you to our signature page, where again the program generated a unique code that the notary also enters into the eSignPad app on the smartphone. Once that code is entered into the app, then the notary, just like the consumer, with a stylus or the pad of their finger, can sign the eSignPad. Once you hit apply signature, you don't see the notary signature right away like you did the borrower signature. Instead, you get our processing page where the program's going to the internet, pulling every name, date, notary stamp, placing it throughout the closing package wherever it needs to go. Once that's completed, you'll see the green continue button. And once you hit that, it'll take you back to the package. We've actually put this funding authorization in here as a talking point and to show you a marketing advantage from our eSign room. If you've done a purchase transaction where both sides to the transaction was done completely electronically, it is possible to get this immediate funding authorization. That means whether you closed Monday morning at 10 a.m. or Friday at 6 p.m., this will allow the title company to have the consumers exchange keys, give the seller their proceeds check, and give the realtor their commission check, which again we think is a powerful marketing tool to be able to do something that not many lenders and title companies can do in the paper world. Again, this would be a lender decision and would not necessarily be on every single transaction. Whether it is or is not, once you hit the green continue button, you then get the package loaded, and for the first time you'll have every signature applied throughout the closing package wherever it needed to go. So we're going to scroll through and show you what the signatures look like. And there is our two consumers who have signed and the date. And if you were to print these documents out on a color printer, they would come out as a blue ink original signature. We'll take you to the identity affidavit so that you can see that not only did the information that was entered populate this page, you also have your consumer signature and date, as well as the notary signature, the electronic notary stamp, as well as all the verbiage for that acknowledgement filled in. Once the closing is complete, you can go to the Deliver Documents tab on the bottom left side of the screen, and once selected, you can enter the consumer's email address, and whether you're closing at the title company or at the lender's office or some other convenient location, the program will immediately send the consumer a hyperlink with an email that will take them to a fully executed PDF of their documents. If you are hooked up to a computer wherever this electronic closing happened to go, you can click that download and print icon on the top right corner, and you can simply print out the closing package, and the consumer can walk out with the paper version if they so choose. So in a nutshell, that is what our e-sign closing room looks like. Thank you for watching. Pearson Patterson LLP provides a support center to answer your questions and guide you through your electronic closings. Thank you for your interest in the digitization of the mortgage process.